Here we go. So yeah, like I've been saying, I mean, these first two bosses are, to me, not fun. Just because there's nothing to them. They're effectively um, high health trash mobs. And then that's not to, you know, talk about the actual trash that we have to deal with. Has anybody? Yeah, okay, both the paladins have deigned to the tank. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I'm probably gonna struggle to find stuff to talk about in this raid because I just am really not a huge fan of it. I mean, I could spend the entire time just complaining about it, but I don't think anybody would enjoy that. Um, I mean, again, all it would take, I think, is, you know, rebalancing the level sync for it. So you at least had to do mechanics again. And again, it is mostly just for the first half of it. I mean, certainly interesting, like, boss design. I don't even know what to make of this boss. I'm sure there's probably some lore or something that makes this monstrosity make any kind of sense. But I don't know it. I think typically, like, a lot of bosses and stuff like that are based off of, like, real world myth and legend and, you know, folklore and stuff like that. So I'm sure that, you know, the name, you know, Scylla, something like that, you know, means something somewhere and makes sense of, you know, of the way it looks. That was fortuitous. Somebody just... Oh, and there we go. How did so many of us freeze at once? Again, I mean, it's... There are mechanics to be done, but I think by and large, like, you could come into this, at least this fight and the next, without knowing the mechanics and still get through it. Now we move on to another group of uninspired trash. I don't know if the trash, like, ever was anything worth looking at. Or, you know, like, there was anything interesting about it. Like, it was all broken up into groups of 3, but I don't think there was ever a period where, like, tanks actually tanked it separate. Because I don't think there's a reason to. I miss lunge. Every time I get knocked back, I wish I had it. Oh, here's where we deal with the Doga and Une clones. I mean, if nothing else, the music is great. I thought this boss was really cool. Like, originally, you know, like, back before you could just overpower him. I mean, because this is what, like, the first boss, the mechanics aren't really that crazy or whatever. You know, it's just various orbs you get and what to do with them. But this actually had, like, mechanics that you had to do. And, you know, like those platforms off to the side and everything. And have not touched one of those platforms in many, many, many years. Which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't know, because I know a lot of people would probably be upset if they, you know, balanced the level sync here and, you know, made us have to actually do the mechanics, because it is such a nice raid to spam for, you know, whatever. But, I mean, if they at least just made, like, another option where you could queue up for the harder version of it and it had, like, increased rewards. Thing is, I think in the end, especially if it had increased rewards, people would then still choose this, you know, assuming that the rewards were comparable to the increased amount of time you spent in it. Because it's kind of like what they did with Castrum, Meridianum, and Praetorium. You know, when they forced us to watch the cutscenes in there, they increased the reward out of it. And people, like, think that, you know, it's a good amount of reward or whatever. At least that's the general take I get or whatever. But to me, it's... Oh, I think that was on me. Yeah. I mean, I'll do the main scenario roulette from time to time for tomes. You know, for the highest tomes, just to hit cap if I'm desperate, but generally I never run main scenario roulette. It's just, to me, the rewards aren't worth it. Now on to Amon, the first boss that actually has mechanics that have lasted. And then again, it's really kind of a rehash of King Behemoth. Just a different element. And that getup is something else. I kind of like the headpiece, but everything else is a bit much for me. And then, of course, I can't even wear the headpiece now anyway. Hashtag fix Vieira. Hashtag fix Hrothgar. Because these dudes, like... I mean, I don't know if it was necessary, but I know certainly, like, it definitely helped to hit them with those orbs to shrink them. And now you don't even need to. Trying to keep, I was trying to keep an eye on the cast bar for him. Yep, there we go. Jeez, they all line... Oh, okay. I thought it was all three of them. I mean, not difficult. I mean, all you really need to do is just pay attention to the ice mechanic thing, but and in this boss, it's just the raised AoE thing you have to get on, and then the like meteor things you have to kill. You fight valiantly, mortals, but to no avail. Oh, and they're starting it. That's fine. Absolute darkness draws nigh. Soon it will be unleashed and all shall something. See, and it doesn't help. Well, I mean, even in the latest raids, people still don't care about people in cutscenes. But I was going to say, I think, the idea that this is one that is rushed through so often, like, people have no patience for people watching the cutscenes. It's on me. So yeah, that mechanic and then, the meteors coming down are the only ones that really need to be paid attention to. And even then, if you as an individual don't do that last mechanic right, you just get rezzed and move on. The meteors, I think, if We massively screwed it up. I think it still caused a wipe. I actually look forward to doing World of Darkness just because it's more interesting mechanically, and I mean, even aesthetically, like the Crystal Tower is kind of bland, at least, you know, for the first 3 bosses. I mean, certainly, you know, pretty to look at or whatever, you know, the first few times you're in it, but then it's, you know, it's just crystal walls. It's interesting, they make Xande out to be like some kind of great villain or whatever, but he has a couple of lines and then he's just taken down and that's it. Now this is where it gets interesting. Lavenza. You did it. You defeated Emperor Xande. Empires may rise and fall, but man's indefatigable spirit ever lives on. Truly you are the champion we had hoped for, Lavenza Shark. With Emperor Xande now at eternal rest, his dark legacy may be undone. Not yet. Oh, and he's dressed for success now. What are you playing at now, Nero? In case you haven't noticed, Garland, these are dangerous surrounds. Can a man be faulted for exercising due caution? At any rate, you needn't mind me. I am perfectly capable of looking after myself. Go on and finish what you came to do. There are 2 ways that we may seal off Circus Tower. Either isolate it from the outside world, or cripple its ability to produce energy. The choice of method is yours to make. Before you proceed, however, Doga and I must needs attend to a task. What have they got going on? And why did it take Sid to stare at that for people to notice? Or maybe they did and just didn't think it much of a threat. That distortion, what is it? The power that Xande sought to obtain comes from the void, the world of darkness, our people called it. And the true nature of that power was none other than the armies of Voidsent. Voidsent feed on ether, as you may already know, and no plane is richer in it than ours. That's because we're the source, and we've already had a bunch of rejoinings. In exchange for their allegiance, Xande entered into an unholy covenant. He would open a gate through which the void scent could freely enter our world. The covenant, I'm afraid to say, is still in effect. However, being of the Emperor's lineage, Une and I believe that we can annul it. By his blood, Zande sealed his dark pact. By our blood, it shall be undone. It is time. Yes, Doga. Finally, we may fulfill our purpose. Nero is just... Oh, be still my beating heart. For a moment I feared that this outing would end in disappointment, but my readings were not mistaken. Not even the Ultima weapon compares to this. What are you going on about? The covenant is everlasting. Uh-oh. Getting the shinning again. And so Mericidia is brought into the fold. Soon all the world shall be united under Allegan rule. And yet, with every dream that becomes reality, the memory of death grows ever more vivid. An endless void, bereft of light and warmth. Though I may have defeated death, it did not leave me unscathed. Nay, its ravening claws have scarred my soul for eternity. Never shall I know peace. Beings without will, you cannot fathom my rage, my melancholy, my fear. What worth is wealth and power when all must inevitably be consigned to nothingness? If man has nothing, he need not know the pain of loss. So let there be nothing. Jeez, it's like super nihilism. Harvest more power that the gate may be thrown full open. Let the cloud of darkness come and engulf the world, devouring all life, hopes, and dreams. Let all be returned to nothingness. Yeah, he needed some mad antidepressants or something. I don't know, just some weed or something. Mushrooms. It's funny, like the amount of times that the Warrior of Light like gets incapacitated by the echo. Like you would think they'd be dead by now. Lavenza, pull yourself together. Is there no end to them? What in the seven hells is happening? Ugh, not now, damn it. What was that mouthing? Nero, were they part of your grand plan too? Save your japes, Garland. I didn't put up with your arrogant face to play with worthless clones. Something controls them, a void scent, and no ordinary one at that. Doga! Confound it. Without them, there's no way to master the darkness. That power is mine. Nero! The covenant shall be honored. I am the cloud of darkness. I shall devour your light and return this world to the void. Damn it, the rift is gone. What are we supposed to do now? As much as it pains me to leave without them, there's precious little we can do. Let us return to the find and consult Rambros. Yeah, given, what the developers have said about the time span that exists, in the game, like from when you start to like Shadowbringers and stuff. I mean, the way we're going through this now is not probably a far cry from the actual time span that actually happens. Maybe like a day or two goes by between, raids, but it can't be that long. Just, thinking about Nero and Une and Doga, in the world of darkness for this time period. I feel as though that I'm forgetting something important. For the life of me, I can't remember what that something is. Do they have anything different to say? Rambros may know a way to bring our friends back. Let's consult him without delay. I appreciate the attention and all, but don't you have better things to do than chat with me? Everyone's been in a dark mood since returning. I take it the mission didn't go well. All this happened within the tower? God's preserve. The rift that manifested before the throne was a void gate. Of this I am certain. There exist myriad kinds of void scent. The more powerful the being, the larger the gate must be for it to pass through. 'Twould seem that Zonde sought to open a gate of unprecedented proportions, one that would allow this cloud of darkness entry into our world. Fortunately for all mankind, he did not succeed. I shudder to imagine what this void scent is capable of. However dreadful it may be, we cannot abandon our friends. Is there no way to save them? I will not lie to you, Master Garland. The situation is bleak. Though void scent can enter our world, instances of men entering the void have never been documented. It pains me to give voice to my fears, but we do not even know whether our friends still live. Damn it. I feel so hopeless. No, I refuse to give up. We must save Dogo and Uni. We share the same eye, 'tis true, but that is not what motivates me. Above all, I wish to help them to fulfill their mission, a mission whose burden they have borne for thousands of years. And besides, we cannot leave matters as they are. So long as Zande's dark covenant is binding, our world is in danger. 'Tis our duty to prevent the worst from coming to pass. Graha, ever since meeting Uni and Doga, you have not quite been yourself. Tell me true, is all well with your eye? I honestly cannot say. I know only that there is a memory that I must recall. As a child, my father told me that the truth of our eye rests with Alig. The answer eludes me still, but one day I will find it. I'm with Graha. However slim the odds, we must try to save Uni and Doga. Aye, and that bastard Nero as well, if only to make certain that he won't make any more mischief. You have the right of it. Though we have known them for briefly, Doga and Une are our comrades. We cannot fail them. I shall consult experts in literature both. I swear to leave no stone unturned. Yet know that it may be a while before we are ready to act. I would ask that you all be patient. When dealing with the void, one cannot be cautious enough. My thanks again for your assistance. Pray rest now while you can. For when the time comes to go after our friends, you must be at no less than full strength. We'll save them yet, Lavenza. Mark my words. Thank you for watching. This Crystal Tower series has been a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest. I had watched the cutscenes again right before Shadowbringers had come out. I mean, I think literally the day before it launched, I rewatched the cutscenes, to get reacquainted, and so I I kind of thought I knew what to expect, um, and so I wasn't really looking forward to it as much as the other content I've done, um, but now having gone through the whole thing again after having completed Shadowbringers, it so much better than I expected, and um, it was just great. It was just a lot weightier than I was expecting. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. If so, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to watch me live to complete, or to continue this journey, um, I'll be moving on to the end of A Realm Reborn, and then obviously on to Heavensward. And if you want to see that, please follow the link I've got down below to my Twitch. Thank you again for watching, and you have a great one.